Welcome to Bookish Mind, Season 06, Episode 03. In a world constantly pushing us to fit in and hide our true selves, have you ever wondered what it truly means to be authentic? Today we explore Chapter 3, How to Be You, from Renuka Gavrani's insightful book, The Art of Being Alone, as we uncover the path to embracing your undefinable self. Okay, let's dive into this. Renuka Gavrani opens her chapter by hitting on something deeply resonant for so many of us, that inherited almost instinctual need to fit in, right? To be accepted.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how long, she asks, can anyone really keep up that demanding facade? Constantly shape-shifting versions of yourself for your partner, your boss, your friends, your family. She paints this really vivid picture of this relentless performance, leading to what she calls the real you is lost. She even uses this fantastic analogy, imagining your mind as a computer with far too many personality tabs open, ultimately leading to your real personality crashing. What are the deeper costs of this constant performing?
It's such a powerful image, isn't it? And what truly resonates, I think, is that Gavrani isn't speaking from some detached theoretical perspective. Not at all. She candidly admits to having walked this very path herself, trying tirelessly to sculpt herself into a, quote, most acceptable and loving version, meticulously hiding her true thoughts just to be wanted.
Right.
And that kind of vulnerability from the author, it immediately grounds her argument, makes us ask ourselves, is the fleeting comfort of external attention truly worth the slow erosion of your genuine identity? Our deep dive today is really a journey into the, well, maybe counterintuitive path Gavrani lays out for rediscovering and truly falling in love with the person you actually are.
That journey begins, maybe somewhat surprisingly, with a critical look at a phrase we hear absolutely everywhere today. Self-love.
Everywhere.
Gavrani offers this sharp critique, suggesting its widespread popularity has, ironically, kind of cheapened it, almost turning it into self-pity.
Interesting take.
She points out how it's often exploited by companies selling cute shampoo bottles, expensive perfumes, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's certainly not about just, decorating yourself from head to toe, is it?
Yeah.
So what is true self-love if it's not about these superficial things?
Well, Gavrani strips away all that commercial noise, and in doing so, she reveals two foundational pillars of genuine self-love. First, and perhaps the most challenging, is knowing yourself.
Okay.
And this isn't just about what you like on a surface level. It's a deep excavation of your true nature, what you think, how you think, and what lies hidden beneath all your ingrained manners and social etiquettes.
Right, beneath the surface.
Exactly. And then the second, equally vital pillar, accepting yourself. This means acknowledging everything inside you, be it good or bad. Gavrani warns us that the deeper you try to bury or hide what you perceive as your ugly side, the darker it gets inside your heart. It's about facing your whole self, warts and all.
That's a profound redefinition. It really shifts self-love from, superficiality to almost brutal self-honesty.
It does.
But this immediately brings up the enormous societal pressure we face, doesn't it? We're constantly bombarded with messages from society, movies, web series, all telling us that good people are good to everyone all the time.
That message is constant.
And this subconsciously makes us believe that to be truly loved and accepted, we must neatly fit into this good human category. And that leads to this draining trial period, as Gavrani calls it, where we try to be nice even to people who are, frankly, abusive. It makes you wonder, how can you possibly be good all the time? Or love others when you yourself are hurting?
Yeah, how can you? And it's fascinating that Gavrani brings up villains in this context.
Or villains, okay.
Yeah, she makes a compelling case that our occasional sympathy for a story's antagonist isn't some moral failing, but actually a recognition of shared humanity. Villains, she posits, show us that, quote, we all can be bad at times, not intentionally, but because we are designed to feel all kinds of emotions. We are complex human beings, right? Not simplified operating systems with limited functions. Their very existence in a story teaches us that our dark side, our anger, our selfishness, our less flattering emotions isn't something to be eradicated.
It's part of us.
It's an inherent part of us. It doesn't define us, but it is there. It's society's unwelcoming stance towards traits outside that narrow good boy, good girl category that often pushes us to suppress these genuine feelings, making us believe they are flaws instead of just facets of being human.
And Gavrani anchors this point with a really powerful personal example. She shares a story about this, right?
She does. Despite genuinely believing in kindness, she realized after some deep self-examination that she can, at times, be selfish.
Okay.
But instead of hating herself for this perceived flaw, she learned it's okay to accept myself as a selfish person.
Yeah, that takes courage.
It does. And this acceptance, she found, wasn't a surrender to negativity. Quite the opposite. It empowered her to choose herself, her happiness, her career, and perhaps most surprisingly, it brought immense clarity to her relationships, allowing her to set expectations clearly and honestly, no more pretending.
This feels like the real aha moment here.
I think it is. Self-love, then, isn't about indulging in bubble baths or treating yourself to, I don't know, expensive perfume. It's about knowing everything about yourself, however ugly or dark or bad your truth is, and accepting yourself with it.
That's radical self-honesty.
Totally. Gavrani suggests this isn't about fixing yourself, but about transforming what you might label as flaws into unique strengths, cultivating a home deep inside you where you can be you without worrying about healing, pretending, or perfectionism.
A safe space inside.
Exactly. Ultimately, she concludes, it's not even our dark side, it's just who we are. That is how we are designed, that's what makes us unique. It's about recognizing the inherent completeness of who you are without judgment.
So once we truly embrace who we are, warts and all, Gavrani argues that acceptance fuels this continuous, vital process of knowing that self.
Right.
She calls it self-love grows with self-knowledge. And it's definitely not presented as a quick fix.
No quick hacks here.
She immediately dismisses any notion of those quick hacks or schedules, stating plainly, you are not a subject that you can just study, understand, and close the book. You are a human.
Which is so true.
Our preferences, our working styles, our priorities, they change rapidly. What worked yesterday might not tomorrow. So you're not some constant self-improvement project you can just tick off a list.
That's such a crucial point. Gavrani's perspective really emphasizes that knowing yourself is, by its very nature, a lifelong journey.
Lifelong.
Especially in our increasingly noisy and distracting world, it's incredibly tough to stay truly connected to that subtle inner voice. This self-knowledge, then, isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a continuous process of discovering who you are right now, and perhaps more importantly, not losing yourself amidst all the external pressures and ever-changing circumstances. It requires, well, consistent engagement.
And one of the most core habits Gavrani suggests for this journey is to come face-to-face with your mind. She quotes the psychoanalyst D.W. Winnicott, "It is a joy to be hidden and disaster not to be found." It's quite a thought.
It really is.
In moments of true alone time, your mind can be a challenging companion, right? Often pulling you back to worries, anxieties, unresolved stuff. She even shares her own experience during the COVID-19 lockdown, describing how her mind felt like a punishment, just constantly generating this relentless stream of thoughts and worries. It makes you wonder, why are so many people so profoundly afraid to simply be alone with their own thoughts?
And that fear is incredibly pervasive. Gavrani draws on Rollo May, who articulated that many people suffer from the fear of finding oneself alone, and so they don't find themselves at all.
Wow. So they avoid it completely.
Yeah. This deep-seated fear often drives people into toxic relationships or sends them spiraling into short-term, superficial pleasures like endlessly watching Netflix or going out with people who you don't like, all in an attempt to silence the mind, just numb it out.
Right. Distraction.
But Gavrani pushes back hard against this. She asserts that your mind is not your enemy. In fact, she declares there's freedom in knowing yourself by bravely facing everything your mind presents, even old regrets or uncomfortable truths. It's about shifting from avoidance to courageous engagement.
So the practical advice here is really powerful. Instead of trying to silence your mind, face it. Engage with it. She suggests a daily practice of taking at least 10-15 minutes to just be with your soul. Her guidance is to read your thoughts like you were reading a classic book, almost as if you're spending time with the most amazing person on this planet. Essentially, treat yourself as your own therapist. Be curious.
And what's fascinating here is the almost paradoxical promise that this seemingly daunting practice eventually becomes exciting. It evolves into something that feels genuinely like falling in love with yourself.
Really?
Yeah, it's in these quiet moments that you start to truly understand the nuances of why you react in certain ways, why particular jokes make you laugh, or why specific situations trigger certain emotions. It's the constant unfolding of your authentic self.
Okay, so that's facing the mind. The second part of cultivating self-knowledge, she says, is to know thyself beyond the tags.
Ah, the tags, yes.
Gavrani vividly recalls this challenge from her high school professor. Could you speak about your real you for minutes equal to your age without using any worldly tags like good or bad person, sad or happy, poor or rich, writer or lawyer? It's a surprisingly difficult task, isn't it? Try doing that for, say, 30 minutes straight.
It really is, because we're so conditioned to these labels. Gavrani reminds us that when we were born, we were free from all these tags. A baby doesn't judge based on color, status, or past mistakes. They simply exist and allow you to be yourself without qualification.
They just are.
Exactly. The profound tragedy, she points out, is that we gradually lose this innate ability. We accumulate tags from society, and often we impose them on ourselves. She shares a stark, personal example, being called ugly at age 10 during a family death, and how that single tag shattered her confidence, clinging to her until she was 17. It just highlights the insidious power these labels hold over us.
Wow, one word doing that much damage.
Yeah. And so she urges us to actively free yourself and others from these pervasive labels.
Wow.
When someone tries to tag you, whether it's a positive or negative label, she suggests this simple mental whisper: yeah, another tag, but I don't want it.
Like mentally deflecting it.
Precisely. It's about fundamentally recognizing that you are beyond the titles of the external world. You're not just your profession, your relationship status, or even your failures. You are something far more expansive, more fluid.
Okay, I like that. Beyond the titles.
And she beautifully encapsulates this by describing us as a piece of everything we owned, every place we have traveled, every person we met, and every word we read. We are, in her words, stitched together by the songs we enjoy, people we love, adventurous experiences we have had, books we read.
That's a lovely image.
Isn't it? The ultimate goal, then, is to become truly undefinable. She dreams of being described not just as an author, but as someone who writes in a way that makes you feel safe, loved, and understood, who lives in a world that exists beyond the human mind, loves nature, and drinks coffee like it's a drop of heaven.
So it's about the essence, not the label.
Exactly.
Sure.
Moving beyond superficial identifiers to the very essence of your being.
The point Gavrani drives home is that these deeper, more unique traits are what you notice about yourself and what truly defines your inner landscape. It's a lifelong process, she reminds us, because you change every day a little.
Always changing.
The key, then, is to cultivate a sustained, genuine interest in yourself for the rest of your life. It's the ultimate liberation. You are beyond a particular tag. You cannot be labeled, be undefinable. But how do you practically start living that way in a world so obsessed with categorizing everything? That seems like the big hurdle.
It is a challenging question, and her answer is quite ingenious, actually. It's a reframe.
Okay.
Instead of striving to fit into a label or even figure out the right label, she offers this. If you cannot figure out precisely who you are, begin by figuring out who you are not.
No?
And critically, who you don't want to be. This isn't about defining yourself by negatives, really, but by clarity, by boundaries.
That inverse approach is incredibly clarifying. It's like finding your true north by charting all the directions you won't go.
Exactly. Gavrani says this helps you understand your underlying values, your core principles, your unique thinking patterns. It ultimately allows you to think independently rather than passively accepting every definition or expectation thrown at you by the world.
So how do you do that? Is there a practice?
Yeah, her concrete task for you is surprisingly simple. Sit alone for just 5 minutes daily. Write down 1 or 2 things you don't like, maybe a behavior, an attitude, a situation, and, most crucially, why. Dig into the why.
5 minutes. Seems manageable.
It is, but this exercise comes with a surprising and very pragmatic warning.
Oh, a warning.
As you uncover things, you are against things the world might readily accept or even promote. She advises never to share those specific insights with just anyone.
That's fascinating. Why the silence? That feels almost counterintuitive to the idea of authenticity we were just talking about. Is it about people-pleasing or something deeper?
It's absolutely not about people-pleasing. Gavrani explains that, quote, "The world is full of clowns," meaning, essentially, not everyone possesses an open mind or the capacity for nuance when it comes to differences of opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a very pragmatic approach. This private clarity protects your independent thoughts and saves you from unnecessary judgment or conflict.
Yeah.
It allows you to stay true to your internal compass without external noise derailing you. It's kind of like self-preservation in a world often hostile to genuine individuality.
Got it. So it's strategic silence, not fearful silence.
Precisely. She gives a perfect example from her own life. In college, she never drank, even when all her friends were participating. She didn't need to explain or justify it because, as she puts it, "I knew I am not this and I never will."
Just a quiet knowing.
Exactly. And she makes a powerful statement about the slippery slope. If you compromise with your principles once, it will become your habit to cheat your principles and do what's cool.
Oof, yeah, that resonates. It's about maintaining that internal integrity, isn't it?
It really is. This leads to a truly profound realization. Knowing what you don't want and honoring it is the secret to setting incredibly high standards for yourself.
High standards. How so?
It means you stop taking the garbage in, as she phrases it. You stop accepting the bare minimum from people, and you learn to reject what doesn't align with your deepest self, your core values, the things you figured out you are not.
So it's not just about learning to say and no.
It's deeper than that. It's about learning to know what you don't want. This internal clarity naturally attracts people who genuinely align with your values and, perhaps even more importantly, helps you spot and avoid toxic connections almost instantly. It's like having an internal filter for true authenticity.
Wow. This deep dive has really taken us on quite a journey, from understanding that subtle yet immense pressure to conform and the, well, superficiality of some self-love ideas, to the powerful, vulnerable path of self-acceptance, embracing everything. Then the lifelong quest for deep self-knowledge, and finally, the surprising, liberating clarity found in defining what you are not. It's quite a shift in perspective.
It really is. Renuka Gavrani's book truly suggests that true freedom and profound peace come not from trying to perfect yourself or hide your imperfections, but from accepting all parts of yourself, the so-called good and the bad. It really challenges us to reconsider, doesn't it? What dark or unacceptable trait within you, if you fully embraced it, fully understood it, might actually become your greatest strength, or maybe your most profound source of clarity.
That's a really powerful thought to sit with, and one that resonates deeply after this discussion. We encourage you to take Renuka Gavrani's advice. Perhaps try that 10-15-minute daily practice of just sitting with your thoughts, reading them like a classic book. Be curious about yourself. Or maybe begin by listing what you are not and digging into the why. It might just be the very first liberating step to truly embracing your undefinable self.